This is a screenshot from a screen capture from my Macintosh computer. I just wanted to illustrate quickly that a lot of the same things can be done in a Mac that I was illustrating on my Linux machine the other day. The app I'm using for capturing the screen is this thing. It's called Screenshot. It's not just for taking an image of the screen. It will record, and you may have to fiddle around a little bit to get audio to work, but it should work. Um, well, other apps that we probably want to use. Photo Booth is fine for displaying the output from your webcam, so you can see stuff, you know, from that perspective. You get a screenshot of yourself. Um, a web browser certainly. Oh yeah, well, I was just looking around on the internet for something, and it turns out this may be something that's convenient for many of us to do lately. If you're going to be using a touchpad to capture your writing, you're better off with a stylus. And if you don't happen to have one, you can create one with a Q-tip and some aluminum foil and the carcass of an old pen. And for instance, right now, that mouse motion, that's happening because of that stylus. You do have to moisten the tip of the Q-tip that's extruding out, but it's a little bit finer tool than your finger typically is. So what else? Well, in the web browser, you can certainly show graphs. I was thinking about a graph that I worked on my Calc 2 class recently, well, about a month ago, the sine of x squared. And we were looking at this region where the sort of first arch of it between 0 and that square root of pi. So let me isolate the domain, restrict the domain to that region. Okay, so imagine the surface or the shape you get if you revolve that bit about the region where it's a positive, so above the x-axis and under this curve revolved around the y-axis. Because that illustrates another visualization tool that I really think highly of, is a thing called OpenSCAD, which I use to do 3D printed models of a lot of things. I never actually built this model. It was just a visualization, so we just showed it to class. But this is the decomposition of the region. The region revolved around the y-axis that we were just talking about. Yeah, decomposed into shells. I left a little bit of space between the shells, so it helps, I think, to let you see things better. But it also makes this kind of psychedelic pattern as you pan around it, which is fun. What else? Also in the web browser, I was doing a little illustration of some using Sage, computer algebra. One of the more useful things in something like Calc 2 or Calc 3 is to be able to do nicely rendered 3D plots. And this actually happens to be a 3D plot of a variety that I discovered or basically faked up to look like the Hoffman-Meeks minimal surface, or maybe better known as the Costa surface. So the point of the Sage worksheet we're currently looking at was to basically take the data out of this plot and then use it to construct an actual 3D printable model. And actually sent this away to a company called Shapeways, and a few weeks later, after I uploaded my model, they sent me back a physical Costa surface, which I think is pretty fun. So I think the limits of this business are really in our own imaginations. We should be able to find all kinds of ways to deliver interesting content to our students via screencasts. The one thing I haven't shown here, which I have done on my Linux machine, is to plug in a separate webcam to use it as basically a document cam, so you can look at a window that has a view of a page that you can write on. But that's certainly doable on the Mac too. Okay, thanks for watching.